1. Track visits. The first thing to look at is the number of visits you are getting to your website. This metric in itself is not necessarily all that useful, seeing as it doesn't necessarily provide much information regarding the type of person visiting your site, the way they're engaging with your content, or anything else. What's more, is that most websites will not see a visit as the end goal. If you are intending on building brand awareness, engagement, and following, then you will need to reduce your bounce rate, see below. If you are trying to make money, then your goal will be to increase your AdSense revenue, or to make more sales of your products. Visits in itself is really just an aside. Despite this though, you need to know your visits in order to make sense of all the other data that you're getting. You need to know your visits so that you can know what percentage of those visitors are buying from you and thereby calculate your conversion rate. Your visits tell you how many people you have to work with, and they let you formulate a strategy on that basis. And if your main income comes from AdSense impressions rather than clicks, then there is a very good chance that your number of visits is going to correlate pretty much directly with your overall revenue. When looking at this metric though, it's important to recognize the subtle distinctions between the different kinds of hits and visits. For example, you have both visits and unique visits. In many ways, the latter is actually more useful, as this uses cookies stored on your visitors' computers in order to identify repeat visitors. So if you have one mega fan who visits your website 20 times a day, then your unique visits metric will help you to compensate for that and give you a more useful number that is a better reflection of your site's popularity. Another thing to consider is the difference between hits and visits. Hits are different from visits because they actually represent every single demand placed on your servers. This means each new visit to your site, but it also means image that gets downloaded, and might also include bots, scripts that work for search engines and other sites as a way of indexing the content on your site. This means that if someone were to link directly to one of your images and embed it on your page, which isn't a done thing but it does happen, then you would see a massive increase in your hits that wouldn't necessarily tell you anything about how many people were actually reading your content. So at the very least, you should look at visits rather than hits. And most likely you are going to want to look at your unique visits.